Greetings all, and welcome to my max base build, where we will be demonstrating how to build a max base.
Don't worry, you've clicked on the right video. This is Brady Montana here to introduce to you my partner in crime, Unicorn Hit. Unicorn Hit assisted me with my base in Canyonlands, and it inevitably gave her the base building bug. So after mining long hours, looting for lumber, and dying countless times, we are here together to bring you our Canyonlands max base build.
The base you see behind us is my masterpiece, equipped with 2 garages, 3 stories, and 3 towers for optimum kills. If you'd like to see how we used our 250 upgraded base parts, then keep on watching, and don't forget to subscribe to become a business associate.
In this video, we're going to start with a 2x2 base, and if you have never built a base before, I highly recommend starting with a 1x2 that will look something like this. This will provide a loot room with an airlock for safe entry and exit for going inside and outside of your base. What we do is expand a 1x2 base to a 2x2 base, and then once the 2x2 has been made, we expand the 2x2 into a 3x3, which is done by placing foundations on 2 sides of the 2x2, like what is demonstrated here. At this point, the base is a 3x3 foundation base, and we make the base 3 walls or 3 stories high to help prevent it from being raided. The reason why we do this is because you can hop on top of vehicles and other items in the game and have a boost to jump higher. In the early stages of a base, it's very important to upgrade all of the parts to plated to prevent being raided by melee weapons, which may not be the same in future updates. When raiders see plated walls, they will often move on to a more weaker base that still has wooden walls or noticeable weak spots. Once we have 2 stories of walls built, we upgrade what we have to plated and move everything upstairs, and we do the same process up to the 3rd story, which is a sturdy place to have your loot rooms. Once the outline of the 2nd story has been made, it's time to fill in areas with walls, platforms, and doors to make things complicated for raiders. 3x4x4 platforms are great because they are roofs and they allow you a place to walk on your next story. I like to hide stairs that lead up to the next level behind walls, so it's not too easy to find if the base gets raided. We didn't want to add too much on the inside of the base for video demonstration purposes, but you can get very creative with walls and rooms inside of your base. You don't have to follow every step that is done here. The main thing to know about Miscreated bases is the more plated parts you have, the less you have to worry about. However, no base is unraidable. At this point, this base is a 3x3 base with 2 stories high, and now it's time to expand up to the 3rd story. The first thing that we do is create a stair room that is protected by walls, and this will reduce the chance of somebody trying to find a way inside. Luckily, the game allows for base parts to be packed up, and this helps a lot with adjusting certain areas. Now that this stair room has been created, the next step is to place walls all around the outside section of this top story so people cannot jump in. Whenever a wall is destroyed, if there is a wall on top, it will fall down where the destroyed wall was. That's why it's important that all walls on the outside layer get upgraded to plated as soon as possible. In my opinion, the best way to fill in a gap where the basic stairs are is to find the Platforms 2 guide and create the Platforms with Stairs. This platform allows the 3x4x4 platform to be snapped on top, and it will seal off any open areas on your roof. If you're having trouble finding the Platforms 2 guide, you can purchase it from the Steam Marketplace for a low price, as well as other guides, and retrieve it from the kiosk with just 1 Amcoin. This is very helpful when you're wanting to create a 4x4 roof, large storage containers, and several other base parts where guides are needed. Now the 3rd story is sealed off, and it's time to upgrade everything to plated and move all of the storage boxes up here. To upgrade a base fully to plated, it's going to take a lot of mining iron ore. So if you're comfortable enough to chase after an airdrop, you could get a builder airdrop that has 4 stacks of 64 sheet metal, and this will save a lot of time if you can pull it off. We mined for several hours to deliver you this max base build, so you can hopefully build a base similar to this and enjoy the end game of Miscreated and start hunting after towable base parts. After you have created an upgraded third story, I recommend making several rooms and spreading out your loot boxes in case you get raided. The raiders will have to use more resources to obtain all of the loot, and this might stop them halfway. The next step after a 3x3 3-story base like this is to create the last layer, which will turn the base into a 5x5 base. This is an easy part because all you need to do is wrap 4x4 foundations around the 3x3 base and build walls 3 stories high around it. This will turn the base into a headache of getting to the loot room, and it comes with a hefty cost on materials for the raiders. It will also allow lots of room for a sturdy garage. I'm going to speed up this next part as well as turn on some tunes, and I'll see you when this part is complete. Here is where the airlock will be. This is very important to have no matter how big your base is. We just upgraded the last part of the base on the outside wall, and now we're pretty protected against raiders. You're probably wondering why I chose to create a 5x5 base. Well, if you type !base in the chat, you can see that we have placed 189 base parts out of 250 base parts. There's so many ways to build a base, but this is the one that works best for us. So now that we have some extra room in the base, let's get started with the garage. Gatehouses make excellent doors and only cost 1 out of 250 base parts, whereas the door and the wall door cost 2 base parts, so it's an upgrade and it allows vehicles to go in and out. The next thing that we build is the ceiling for the garage where the vehicles will be kept. We do this by placing the columns a little off center, and this causes the 4x4 roof to be held up by the walls. I have a video just for this, and that video is linked in the description. When creating a roof, you want to start with two 3M columns and then place a 4x4 roof on top, and you may need stairs for the extra height. When you pack up the column, the roof should stand still if the columns are correctly placed off center of the foundation. The walls on the side will hold the roof in place, making a nice shield from grenades that get thrown into your base. This roof is finished and now a vehicle can be safely stored in here, but there's one thing that's missing, and that's the garage door and the ramp to get a vehicle inside. So I'm going to pack up these 3 external walls and place a garage door frame and a garage door here, and a 3x4 wall will go right on top. Be careful when doing this because if a falling base part falls on a packed base part, it will delete it. Okay, so now that we have everything placed, we're just going to fill in all of the gaps. So we're going to put a wall on top of here and a wall on top of here, and now it's time to upgrade this gatehouse, which only costs 16 sheet metal, which is actually less sheet metal to upgrade than a 3x4 wall door and a lockable door. The garage door frame is just the standard 16 sheet metal to upgrade to plated as well. If you have a base built on foundations, then you're going to need to make a ramp to get your vehicle inside. You can walk underneath the garage door as it's rolling up to stop the door from rolling up. This will help because if the door rolls all the way up, you will have to jump and press close at the right time in order to close it. Now that we have a safe place to store vehicles, we'll be on the lookout for any vehicle that we can find. This will help when we find towable base parts, we will have a vehicle ready to tow with. After we created this 5x5 base, we still had 40 base parts that we could place, so we made some towers. However, this is not the most efficient thing to do with the spare base parts. It would be better to use these parts inside the base and make the base stronger internally. The more complicated the base is inside, the more likely it is for the raiders to give up. It's not necessary to make towers like this in order to snipe from. All you need to do is make windows on the top story of the outside walls. There was a dev blog released on March 6th that mentions sledgehammers coming to the game, and they will be able to do damage to these plated walls. So it's very important that you use your walls wisely. Let me know what you think about sledgehammers in the comments below. Okay, so we have everything finished, and you can see that we have 249 out of 250 base parts placed. The base is a 5x5 foundation base with 3 stories high and 3 towers around it. I'm not claiming that this is the best way to build a base, but it is a solid base that should give you an idea of what you should try to build and how many parts can be placed. With everything I have shown you about base building, it's time for you to build a max base. If you have learned something from this, help me out and leave a like, and as always, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next episode.